Hello everybody. Once again, thank you so much for being here with me on Guru Grit, a place for learning. So I hope we learned something today as we're going to do my first ever TikTok Q&A on anything, because like I said, I try to answer as much as I can on TikTok, but it's pretty repetitive because people don't see the videos. I don't make playlists because I have like 1,000 videos and I don't know how long that's going to take. But even if I did, there's just no promise anybody would sift through them. And this way I thought, if I have everything in one place, then I'll say go watch it. This is part one, part two, whatever, okay? So hopefully this will be the start of something useful to us all. Speaking of usefulness, we're going straight in with Saturn himself because he's like the most efficient, useful planet ever. So bear with me as I try to get through as many of these as I can in a reasonable window of time. I can't promise that it will succeed. I keep being, entertained by people in the park today and approached and waved at. So if it ends, it ends. And also it's been threatening to rain. So deeply unchill. Let's begin. Without further ado, if you're new here, I don't like long-winded introductions. I don't care. Nobody cares. I don't think anybody that watches videos really cares. There's a reason Netflix has a skip option at the beginning of every episode. I wish I could just have them. So if you want to know more, description below. There's a lot of stuff on TikTok if you haven't seen it. Let's get into it, okay? Astrology questions. Most of them recently have been about Saturn through the houses. So I made a Saturn through the houses video. I'll link it here, so please watch that now. What if I don't have anything in the 7th house? It's okay. You still are going to have influence to the 7th based on the sign, based on the cusp, okay? So one day when we get really, more detail oriented, we're not going to dive into cusps, we're just going to learn one by one, very foundational things. We can read cusps, okay? Very influential. And then the ruler, okay? If you're Gemini rising, Jupiter rules your 7th through Sagittarius. So that's okay. If your 7th house is empty, you look at what Sagittarius means, you look at where your Jupiter sits, and it helps you figure out what you're probably looking to attract, okay? More houses. Okay, this was a perfect comment. It's not a question, it's just perfect. They said, I have Saturn in the 7th house and married at 35 to someone 7 years older. Thank you so much for sharing. Why? Because Saturn tends to give a later marriage. It's for the best, okay? So if you have Saturn in the 7th and you were married young, it doesn't mean you can't marry young. What it basically states is there's no guarantee it will be a marriage of any satisfaction or contentment. And a lot of the times people do divorce. But the thing I want to add is if you work through it and you actually survive a terrible Saturn transit or something or placement, it tends to last a long time, so it's okay. So you win-win. You can't lose when you think like a winner, okay? Read more Napoleon Hill, you'll be fine. And then the other thing is they said someone's 7 years older. So this is excellent because, as I just mentioned in the Saturn video, when we talk about age differences in Saturn, yes, the standard default age gap given is 7 years, okay? Saturn is a great occultist. He associates with the number 7. He associates with the letter G. There's a reason. I'm mad for alliteration. There's a reason I named this Guru Grit. So it's 2 G's, so 7 is very important. Anyway, so this is very, very textbook comment. It's seriously out of an astrologer's wet dream. Perhaps someone say, I got married at 35 to a 42-year-old. God bless you. I wish you every happiness in life. Please, 100-fold. Go forth and enjoy. Okay, Saturn in 8th with my son. I did answer about Saturn in the 8th house. Now, this one's interesting because, I have to crack my neck, excuse me, because the 8th house will show your in-laws. So if you have Saturn in the 8th, it can give in-laws who are a bit harsh, a bit cold, really traditional, maybe even in their speech, they're just a bit rough with you, or very forward, very, very plain, maybe they're not really warm and affectionate. Now, Sun in the 8th will give a family is the tiniest dog. I can't, today is just, I've been seeing the craziest thing. I swear to God, that is like a Pokemon on a leash. It is so cute and adorable. It doesn't even look like a dog. Anyway, Sun in the 8th, I have to see this close up. This is too sweet. What even is that thing? What even is that? It is so cute. I swear it's like a meme. It's like a child drew it and it came to life. It's so freaking cute. Anyway, it's like a cat's tail with a dog's head. It's so cute. Okay, anyways. Sun in the 8th will give you a partner who comes from a higher social standing than your own family, okay? So if you're from a family of teachers, they could be from a family of architects that own a firm, okay? They're not necessarily kings and queens, but by some measure, they are in the eyes of society. I'm not saying they're better people, I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're somehow accomplished, or they have connections or family history or something, okay? This person said, I'm not married yet. I would love to be. I'm turning 39 this year. So, okay. And then same person, thank you so much, a wonderful esthetician. I don't know if I can say your name because I know it's in the thing, but thank you so much. You put, need a reading, seriously. Thank you so much. I like to read for people who know what they want and who want to learn about themselves, okay? Because if you're not willing to like grow, and don't waste everybody's time, okay? The money's the same wherever you look. I don't charge anybody more or less because of what they have. I tell you the same answers no matter what, but you should have a really strong like desire to know an answer. So basically, if you are what you would call delayed marriage, though it's never really delayed because everything's on time in life. I know it's hard to believe because you're like, well, where is it? I want it. But if Saturn's there, it's delayed marriage, okay? You can see extreme delay. There is extreme delay, which is like 42 and up, but people still marry, okay? Denial of marriage is very, very specific. I don't think I'll ever do that publicly because it's really technically involved. And even amongst like, you know, some Vedic astrologers, I'm not calling myself one, I just really love it. I'm still learning. I've been in the process of learning like 5-6 years. I'll never stop learning, that's my problem. I'm never done. But I rely on Jaimini techniques. I know it's not for everybody, but the way that I learned it from the person I learned it from, I embraced it with my whole heart, and I feel that this works really well. So you can actually see if the person will marry. I always do this in spouse description and marriage prediction. Like, will you actually marry? Because if you won't, if you don't want to, you know, then why? I'm just gonna give you your money back, like a percentage of it, and say, okay, I did this much work. That's your answer. If you want to marry, but it's showing like you won't, then we have to go into remedies, okay? So there's always an answer, okay? And they work. They work, okay? I did a Saturn remedy. This happened recently, okay? So this is my, okay, listen, I wanted a side gig. I wanted like a regular office, regular thing that I studied for. And I did a Saturn remedy for 3 weeks, but only on Saturdays. That means 3 days, like an hour. That's like 3 hours out of those 3 weeks that I actually did this. And on the 4th, I land, like it literally fell out of nowhere. Like it fell into my lap, and I sealed it. It was crazy. So remedies work. I've heard people say, I thought I'd never be married, never this is this. I did this for like a month. I did this for 40 days, and just boom, it happened, okay? So you open your heart to your maker and accept your blessing, okay? Aha, this one's really good. Seventh ruler is Jupiter. Sits exalted with debilitated Mars. Has never had a relationship. That's okay. Jupiter is strong. He's exalted. You'll definitely have one, so don't worry. And Jupiter is really good friends with Mars. So I wouldn't look at that as like, that's not like a knock or anything like that, okay? So timing is everything, and they mention their age, and they're very, very young, so don't worry about it. It will happen. The other thing to remember is there's a difference between like marriage and relationships. Some people, you'll see charts, they just do better in relationships. You can actually see this. You can even see it in women. So it's not like, I don't like the stereotype that like all women want to like lock someone in. It's like, no, like listen, we want to be free, okay? Like we're mammals, we all want to be free, we want to live freely. So, but some people, basically what you need to understand is if your 5th house is just like, what would we say when I was growing up? Off the hook, off the chain, if it's like banging, if it's slamming, if it's on fire, if it's awesome, if it's just like, so you just have like a party aspecting the 5th, whatever. You can marry, but you will never be as happy. I don't know why. Karmically, I do know why. But it just like imposes its will on you. It's not for you. Some people might not date much. They might hate it. They might love it. Doesn't matter. But once they're married, their trajectory in life just like, it just takes off. That's your karma. That's what you wanted when you came in. You didn't want to be traditional. You see this a lot with people with Aquarius on the 7th cusp or in the 7th house. They're so much happier when their husband is away on business. Or they're like, oh my God, when we were dating, I hated being away from my partner. And now that we've been married, like every year for his birthday, I get him those like golf tours of Scotland for 2-3 weeks with his friends. I'm like, thanks, see you later, bye. Like you're just like happier when you're, or like unorthodox living arrangements. One of my good friends, she says I would have been divorced if my husband and I didn't have separate master bedrooms. They have like separate bedrooms, sometimes separate houses, okay? So be open-minded. You know, it's not the same one-size-fits-all formula for everybody. Sorry, I'm looking for questions. I have this question too. Okay, here we go. Aha! My 7th house is ruled by Capricorn. Can late marriage apply to me? Technically, yes. Very textbook answer, yes. Cancer rising, Leo rising can marry late. To this, I will add Libra and Virgo ascendants because signs of Saturn occupy the 5th house through Capricorn and Aquarius. So if you have to date to marry, and this is very culture specific, like a lot of people just think everyone lives the same life, but like my clients who come from other parts of the world, for them it's really easy. They're like, I met someone, I like them. Why am I yelling at you? Listen, it's not the same. You know, they met my family, they showed their face at my house. Like 1-2 months, you have coffee with my dad. That's it, we're getting married. Like, what do you mean? You have to know me for 2 years, get engaged for 2 years? What am I like? Am I getting punked? Like, is this a reality TV nightmare? You know, like, it's not like that for many people. Many people marry for different reasons. It could be like community, you want kids, you want to build your life with someone. There is levels of marriage, and the highest level, this is what I have been taught, this is what I learned as, you know, somebody who's studying Vedic astrology, is the highest order, okay, the top of the hierarchy is a spiritual marriage. So if you have common values, if you're religious, if you're spiritual, if you're like-hearted, like in spirit, like-minded, okay, those are like almost like protected by divine order. So yeah, where was I going with that? Yeah, there's different reasons people marry. So fun fact. So we can talk more about that down the line when we're much more open with each other and we know more about what we're wanting to learn. All right, this is cute. So I described Jupiter means husband, and Mars is like, maybe, you know, this is like Hellenistic astrology pretty much, like when I was doing Western, where it's like Mars is what you're attracted to when you're younger, like the greaser and the leather jacket and squeaky coat, you know, and like big muscles or tattoos, and then he's like 6'4", and then one day you like mature and you don't care, so you marry like some guy who's like shorter than you, but he's really nice to you and he wants to be a dad, and you're like living happily ever after. So this person wrote, this is interesting. My Mars is Aries, and I went for meatheads in my 20s. My Jupiter is in Gemini. Not sure what this means. Jupiter is debilitated in Gemini. So generally speaking, like we all marry for the most part. Most people are good, so you will marry someone who's good, but there's like an adjustment period. Like it can make you uncomfortable, or like you just have to like learn. Like maybe, yeah, you went from dating meatheads to really bookish dude who does like tax law, and he's like me. He's like me. You know? He's like me. So you just like adjust to that. Like, what are you doing now? Like meat prepping, I don't know, macro, micro, I don't know what, okay? Like you're keto or something, and you're just like, wow. And my husband, I always like these like big angry dudes, and now this guy's got like a cat allergy, and he's got like a puffer. I'm not trying to say you're a nerd, I'm not saying that. Nothing wrong in that. I'm not like hating on myself, but you know, yeah, there's just like an adjustment. You just get used to this new thing. I'm sorry, I don't understand some of these. What about Juno? I don't use asteroids personally. I don't think there's like, I don't have anything against them, but when do you stop? When do you stop? Like the asteroid belt is full of clumps of rock. Like how much is, like when do you stop? I don't know. It's just like, you have no reason. If you start with one, you unravel the whole thing. I don't know. And when I read a lot. I actually do like some of the asteroids. I'm not gonna be a hater. I like Juno. Juno is what, Hera, the wife of Zeus? Is that right? Anyway, I like them. I researched them a lot when I was younger, in my 20s, nothing against them. But in terms of actual manifestation in your life, I don't feel that they work. If they work for someone, I don't know, maybe it's a coincidence, maybe they thought about it so much that it happened to be true, it like worked out for them. But I don't actually think that they like make manifest, like planets make manifest. They're giants. They were seen as gods. What does it mean if my Jupiter is in the first house? Great question. I answer this a lot. Jupiter is strongest in the first house. Generally, person said to be really lucky. It is believed that people who have Jupiter in the first house, where he has, you know, we just talked about Saturn's directional strength. Jupiter's really strong in the first house, so is Mercury. that if you have Jupiter in the first, some people say 80% of your karmas are put on pause for this lifetime. They're just like void, they're canceled, and you get like a more chill life than you otherwise would have. So, woo! Go you, that's amazing. Are they not meant to last forever? Okay, so South Node contacts for relationships. If the, oh my god, baby squirrel. That is so cute. That is so cute. I feel like, do you ever like get cuteness aggression? I felt like bashing my head against a rock. He's so tiny, he's so cute. Oh my god, okay. Yeah, so too many South Node contacts, you will not probably last a long time. And I get some really angry people being like, that's not true. I've been married to my spouse for 7 years and we have 3 kids, or like 12 years. And in the examples I give, I literally say you can be married 12, 15, 20 years, but you usually don't last. Okay, you could be married from 26 to 53, but you will usually be divorced. Okay, I don't know why you're shooting the messenger. It's not like I'm telling you you're like doomed. I'm telling you what I've observed. That's all I know. So, and the South Node is a separative quality. So one thing that's really interesting to note is South Node, one person's South Node conjunct another person's Venus actually does come up a lot in long-term relationships. That's like the one I feel it can go 50-50. And the moon is 50-50. An example I use that's a very good example is Wolverine, what's his name? His wife, Deborah Lee Furness. Is it Jackman? Hugh Jackman and Deborah Lee Furness. They each have South Node on the other person's moon. That's like a recipe for like a fling. Like that shouldn't work, but moon is 50-50. You have to know the condition of the moon, okay? So it's too technical, we won't get into it, but they defy all odds, okay? It's a bit mysterious too, but it works, whatever works, what do I care, okay? God bless you, be happy. Thank you so much for the response. It scares me to think my Jupiter's in Scorpio and my new future husband would have those Scorpion features. Okay, so good luck for you, because it's lucky Jupiter is strong in Scorpio. So the person can be really loyal, they could be a little bit possessive, they could be intense, deep. But the thing to remember about intense people is they're usually very forthright. So I don't like to think on the dark side, like manipulative, financially skeezy, like that survival element of certain signs. But yeah, it can make you have a really devoted spouse, so that's okay. Maybe even like physically quite strong. Oh yeah, one person said, they basically, a lot of the times when I read through the comments, people take things very literally. So they'll be like, oh, I have Jupiter in Cancer, so I'm going to marry a Cancer. No, that's not what that means, okay? Your Jupiter is in Cancer in your chart. So if Jupiter is exalted, you attract someone of a quality nature, okay? But you could attract anybody, but they will display positive qualities for you because it's what you have magnetized, all right? Oh God, that's heavy. I have 4 planets in the 8th house. What does that mean? I'd have to know the planets. But I would definitely focus on working in research or for the government. Like some really like Stranger Things stuff that I said, like finger strings all the way. I don't have a 7th house. Okay, so intercepted houses occur in, I'm gonna drop it for a second, Placidus oftentimes, okay? So you can, my sister has intercepted houses as well. It's like when one house is so big, it like swallows the surrounding houses whole. So they effectively disappear, you don't really have one. Cast your chart under Campanus house system, love Campanus, or whole sign system, to get a better, like more stable view, okay? You can still use house cusps if you do this, but easy route is just know your ascendant. What's your ascendant? Taurus? Okay, so your 7th is Scorpio. Just look at the opposite. Okay, what are you? Aries rising? Boom, Libra in the 7th. Okay, are you Leo rising? Boom, Aquarius in the 7th. Okay, so just look to the opposite to give you the answers about spouse. That's all you need, okay? Very simple. And then we had a salty person. Just like this is the most irrelevant. Oh, my friend is singing. That's good. It's a good, yeah, it's a good omen. Salty person. Um, but basically, it's not really on par with astrology, but people will be like, well, can you do that then? And I literally, I literally opened so many videos. People are like, can astrology tell you about, I'm like, can astrology tell you whatever? Of course it can, but my answer is always gonna be yes. Like, I'm like being playful and fun, and then someone's like, they just like open fire because they're so mean about it. Yes, of course, astrology can predict anything to the degree that you're willing to hear it. So like for me personally, I've seen people answer like incredible questions using charts. I look at this every single day of my life. Of course I'm gonna be like an advocate or whatever because I look at it, I know that it works, right? But then people will be like, why aren't you rich? It's like, why aren't you this? Why aren't you 60 pounds thinner? You know, just living. I'm just living my life. It depends where you put your attention, okay? So if I said to you, I see that you're divorced, you told me that, and you want to get remarried, and this is a very good window of time, okay? Like April 2023, November 2024, whatever, right? Aim for that. Get to work, you know, go online, look cute, go sit in a park, not here, don't sit here, don't speak to me ever. You know, whatever, do what needs doing. Okay, go to your grocery store, whatever the dating coaches are telling you, couldn't care less, right? But this is your opportunity, maximize it. Anything is possible, but with astrology, it's more probable because you're maximizing potential, okay? That's like with anything. That's like working out but eating, what do they say? You can't outwork a bad diet. So you do them in tandem, you get results, okay? So if you listen to your astrologer and you apply yourself, you get results, okay? There's really, the magic of the world is that I thought that there's no magic, but it's like magic exists to the degree that you believe it. So when people like attack me and they say things, I just think like, it just signals your own limitation. And I'm not trying to be rude because I'm not really at all, but why would you pay someone money to give you advice, disregard it, and then get angry with them? Okay, this luckily doesn't happen to me, but then just don't get any reading from anyone ever. Like, you're not in the mind space, you know? It's like, where's your head at? Just like be happy and like it will all pan out, you know? So, yeah, that part makes me laugh quite a bit. And everything's like a process in life. And truthfully, like where I am in my life, even if I got everything I wanted overnight, I don't know that I would tell anybody. Not that I have anything to hide, I don't really care, like I'm pretty honest. Like if you've come to the lives, you know that like, I have a hard time controlling how I feel, like I work very hard on that, you know? But like what's it to you? It's like so dumb, it's so stupid. Just like think for yourself, like please, like be free, go forth and like philosophize or something. Anyway, I don't even know what that question was. I think it was like saltiness. Yeah, salty people who were like, this isn't true, because this is not my truth. And I'm like, I'm not talking about you. I said generally. I open everything with the word generally because I know somebody will get upset. And it's like, how? Just gag me with a spoon, Jesus Christ. I have my descendant with the North Node. So the North Node in the 7th house is generally said not to be favorable for marriage. Okay, too many disruptions, and just be careful who you marry. Marry someone you actually know well. Marry someone that your family kind of like screens or meets, or you know. If you want to be crazy about it, I don't know that it's crazy. If you want to be really sure, maybe get like a PI to like look into their background or something, okay? I love this one. This one's really cute because they used emojis and they're like, my midheaven is conjunct my Venus, so I don't know when, but I do know it'll be amazing. That's the spirit. Literally, that's the spirit. I have a friend whose Mars is exactly conjunct their midheaven to the degree. And I just know they're gonna like crush it if they become like a land developer, or when they become a real estate mogul, they're gonna be richer than God. That's a very good omen, okay? If you have an empty 10th house, if there's nothing near your midheaven, the planet that will influence your career is the closest thing to the 10th, okay? If you have Sun in the 9th house, if you have Saturn, Mercury, Moon, Sun in the 9th house, but the Sun is 27 degrees pushing on the 10th house, I already know that's amazing for leadership, that's amazing for self-employment, government work, you're good, okay? If there's a jumble of things happening there and Mars is pushing into the 10th house, he's trying to get an inch in, okay? Be a coach, be a personal trainer, you know, be active. Like a real estate agent, I said, like that's like an active job. You're like active in the world, you're walking around, you know, so do something active. Okay. Oh yeah, that's the one I just read. Sorry, that was like a really cute comment. I really like that. Next marriages. Next marriages. That's a pretty big topic. Yeah, you can see second marriage in astrology. Which house it is sort of like up for debate. People don't really agree. I'm not sure what they say for Western astrology. Okay, I'll leave it. This is, some of these are funny. They're like, I'm not getting any younger. When's it gonna happen? Blah, blah, blah. They're really funny. I love this. Makes me laugh. People just have the best sense of humor. It's so cute. But one thing that I love too, kind of makes me laugh. People will be like, "There's a bunch of nonsense. You're wasting our time. You're a witch." Actually, one guy did come to the live. He sent me death threats. He said you should have been burned at the stake. You would have been burned at the stake if you were alive, whatever, 400 years ago. You're inherently evil as a woman. He did mention menstrual flows being of the devil. And then he also told me that there's more women in hell than men because we're naturally deceitful. And then when I went on his profile, he had a cross emoji and it said Jesus is Lord. And I loved it because he's like 10 years older than me. And it was just funny to me. I was like, it's like exactly what I expected. Just like, if you're gonna be like mean, be mean, but don't be like stupid. What am I supposed to write back to him and be like, sick burn, bruh? Like, it's so dumb. Anyway, but yeah, when people are like, you're evil, what you do is wrong, I hope you die, but also, I'm just like curious, so when I give you my details, can you just like tell me stuff about my chart and like prove to me? I'm like, no, back of the line. I'm not gonna curse. I was like, back of the line, you blickety blick, you know, but no, like everybody, there's an order to the world, there's an order to the solar system, to society, you know, like Abraham says, everything spins in perfect order on its axis in equal, you know, space, so it doesn't crash into each other and kill us. The sun always rises. Like everything is in perfect harmony in the universe. I do the orders in the order that they are purchased. Okay, you can get the most expensive thing, but if somebody before you bought the cheapest thing, they go first because it's like ethics. You have to be ethical, so you don't get a free lunch. Stop asking me for free shit. It is so weird to me. I would never do that to somebody. It just makes me laugh. They're like, you're shit for brains. I hope you die. I hope someone does gag you with a spoon. Satan's whore. But also, if I give you my information, can you tell me something? Because like I want you to prove it to me. I want you to prove it to me. And I'm just like, no, absolutely not. Not for all the money in the world, okay? Get out of here. You're so disrespectful. And same for the, it's so funny to me, I call them the blue checkmark people, but they're not the blue checkmark people. But people who have like, okay, so I have like 2 followers on Instagram because I'm like I'm just not a social media person. Even my TikTok's in shambles. But like, it's not my like thing. It's not my vibe. You know, if you want to come say hi, look at the stories, that's cool. You can message me on there. It's primarily for messaging. But somebody will have like a few thousand followers and they'll be like, hey, sweetie. And then I'll be like, I don't know, you'll have to just like get a reading. Like I can't do it like that. I can't. Like off your word. I don't know. And they don't, people like, I know it's not badly meant, but there's different systems of astrology. So you can say like, I have Lilith conjunct whatever, blah, but you know, like it doesn't mean anything to me. I have to see the chart the way that I can like see it. Like it's almost like you're not literate in that, you know? And they're like, no prob. And they just sent, this has happened to me like more than once. Like this is so weird. Like 3 to 5 times. And they just sent me a flurry of screenshots of their charts and like all the graphs with the aspects. I'm like, this doesn't mean anything to me because I didn't cast it. I have to cast the chart. And I'm like, here's the link. You can go buy the reading. They're like, thanks so much. And then they never do it. And the funny thing that makes me laugh is like people who are actual blue checkmark people, not like on the internet, but like in real life, like the nicest human beings. They're just like patient and they're like, thank you. Like, I respect your time. And I'm just like, yeah, is that so hard? Like, it's so crazy to me. Like, this level of delusion is like, sometimes I hate the internet, but I don't, because I have memes and that's like, just keeps me going, gives me joy, makes me happy. My one like big sadness about the net is like Vine not being here anymore. That was like so genuinely amazing. Anyway, I don't know how this took a turn. I was like, I'm in such a good mood. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, big bug. There goes. That's what happens when your mood turns. The animal kingdom turns on you. But something did happen yesterday. So, like, I'm just holding this cups, this like travel mug thing. It's my niece, it's not even mine. And it really made me laugh, like to myself, like thinking of society, which is like never a good road to go down, truly. If you've been to the lives, you know, like I'm very, just like keep it real, okay? So I was in Winners, okay? I was in Winners buying something probably I don't need to buy. I spent a lot of money in the food section, okay? It's just like colorful and interesting, so who cares? And I'm walking through the aisles and I literally just stopped because something just caught my eye. And it was like the cups, like the coffee mugs. And I don't know why, I just started like laughing to myself. There was one that said, in big font, it said, raise them kind. Raise them kind. Like, I don't know if that's like a part of, like, I'm not trying to make fun because I don't know if it's a part of like a slogan. Sometimes it's a part of like a charity or to raise awareness for something. I don't know, right? I don't know. So I'm going to preface that. So it'll be like, Monica, you said, and you're so this and you're so, like, I don't know. I'm telling you, I don't know. But it said, raise them kind. And I literally went, as opposed to what? A Disney villain? Like, do you think some mother holding her newborn baby's going to be like, little Billy, I hope you're like, the biggest piece of shit on the planet? No parent has ever done that, I don't think, in the history of the world. Like, I'm pretty convinced like every parent hopes the best for their child, like has hopes for their future. What do you mean, raise them kind? And then the part that really made me laugh was, imagine going to someone's house after they like have, or maybe before they have their baby shower, or after they just like gave birth, they have like 30 stitches in there, you know what? Their perineum's like been on a butcher's block. Like, they're just not in their right mind, okay? They're not feeling great. And you were like, I brought you like presents, congratulations. And you pull out this coffee mug and your friend's like telling you to raise your children well. I thought that would be literally like the worst gift ever, you know? Like, who would gift that to someone? I was just trying to find like a purpose for such a purposeless thing. I don't know, do you like paint over it? It's so dumb. I just feel like everything has to have like a moral signal and it's exhausting. I need to make another video about this, but I think I talked about it before. Like, I'm just so tired of being told to care about things. Because when I was growing up, I always cared about stuff, and I still care about things, and I think it's cool to care. I think it's cool to try. I think it's cool to like do what's expected of you as like a well-rounded individual in the world. But never have I lived in a world until recently where you're like, it's like mandated that you be decent. I'm just like, that's just like weird. I don't know, should we all just like, should we get our elders to walk around with like rolled up newspapers and just like whack you on the nose when you do and say dumb shit? Like, excuse me, but who was sitting in that boardroom when they're like, this design is gonna one to rule them all. Like, this one's gonna outsell every season. Like, who thought that? Yes, human beings are so morally bombed out and depleted. Let's like start telling them. Let's start telling them to raise better kids. As opposed to what? I don't know, I'm just so confused. It's so stupid. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm really hungry and I should go get some groceries and think of what to make for supper. Please don't buy dumb stuff, because every time you buy something, you like vote for that thing. And I want us to like vote for smart things. Okay, let's do that together. We can do it. So thank you for being here. I hope that answers a lot of your questions. I thought that was like fun and quick succession. So we will hopefully go through some more in the future. And yeah, you know, one thing that people don't ask much, oh my god, what time is it? Yeah, I'm very hungry. but I think it's a good one. It's to see how transits affect things. Okay, so people have said like, okay, well, what if this is transiting this or this is transiting that? So I think we'll do one Q&A on just transits. Like, what happens if the North Node transits your moon? That's a year and a half, you know. South Node Venus, that's a year and a half. Saturn the 7th, Saturn the 1st, of course, Saturn return. We can do all of those things. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I love you all very much. I love talking to you. You're so good to me. I just love you. Thank you. Yeah, you make me feel like I use my time for productive means. You know, I live to serve, so I love answering your questions. So all my love to you. Have a beautiful day wherever you are. And until next time, bye-bye for now.